So I am here at G2E, the Global Gaming Expo, and this is 2022. And I'm going to walk around the floor, just do a quick walkabout, and show you some of the booths. Now, this is actually the second time I'm doing it this year. The first time it was so crowded because I did it the morning of the day that it opened, and so it was just simply too crowded. So I'll show and point out some of the booths. For example, Sega Sammy. They have been introducing some new slot machines of late that are actually very fun to play. But then you're also going to see a lot of other types of vendors here that they specialize in different elements of a casino or a slot machine. And here we have Valvix. You may or may not be familiar with them, but they have some interesting slot machine games. It's a small company that, as I said, you may or may not be familiar with. Some of the people are involved in the creation of slot machines, so they show up here. Here's Urify, and they are a company that you're going to see mostly outside the United States, really. But nonetheless, they do have some slot machines. I'm going to go this way. Blackjack tables. These are some of the components that you'll find they're involved in, including even the stands, maybe, I'm not sure. Marketing. You see several vendors that have chairs. Grover Gaming. They make Class 2 games, including what is called HHR, Historical Horse Racing. And there are a few states that require that if it's a slot machine, you have to follow historical horse races. You get to pick the race, you get to pick the horses, but that is about as far as it goes. And then after that, it's random which race and horse wins based on historical games of real horse races. Kind of an interesting way to handle kind of a Class 2 type game. And here we have Light and Wonder. Now, they were formerly known as Scientific Games. You'll see several of their games previewed a little bit later. Now we're going along the main edge of the conference area, the exhibit area. This is Aristocrat. Now, Aristocrat's changed their policy this year. No one is being allowed to video. You can see the outside. I'll show a little bit more of kind of the, just as I walked around the perimeter a little bit later. Interblock is a company here that makes electronic table games. So kind of instead of having a live person there, or sometimes there is a live person stationed at the front, but they'll have what might otherwise be a table game, only it's electronic, so it kind of saves the casino some money. Here's Every, long ago known as Multimedia Games. You'll see several of their games. I managed to get videos from just about every vendor, with the exception of one or two, as I mentioned, Aristocrat, unfortunately, this year. Konami. They have some nice games, some unusual mechanics. Some of them are out now that you'll see. Here's AGS. They are an upcoming game company that they make some pretty nice games. They'll give you some nice payback. Novomatic is a European country. They are in Austria. And Novomatic also just a few years ago bought into the Ainsworth company. They own a majority share, not everything, but stock-wise. So Ainsworth and Novomatic, you see them here in the same booth. Gaming Arts is a fairly new company, but they have some pretty interesting games. This Kung Fu Empress, if you've ever played it, is really, really loud. And it's a company that has some interesting games worth playing. More of the Ainsworth games. EGT is Euro Gaming Technology, and they are also a European company. I have played their games in casinos in Europe, places like Austria and Budapest and things like that. And their games can be quite fun. A lot of times in Europe particularly, they're multi-games, so you have more than one game to choose from if you sit down somewhere. Aruze. I heard some people mispronounce it, Aruz. No, it's Aruze. And here's the kind of sort of imitation claw game. Very popular. Blueberry is a Canadian company, and Blueberry is somewhat new. They've been around for a little while now, but you'll find them mostly outside of Nevada, and unfortunately not yet in Canada. And they're working on it. Here's more of EGT. Over here, we'll take a little detour, is FBM. Available mostly in Latin America, maybe also in Europe, not sure. You'll see some demos there. And Ortiz, which is also a company that is big in Mexico. They have these bingo type of games, which are very popular. I have played it. Takes a little while to get used to it. We have Merkur, which is a European company. And they have a number of different games. Here's Apex. Not very familiar with Apex. Haven't been able to get a tour of their booths yet. But back to Merkur. They have some nice games. Generally not available in the United States just yet, but I think that might be changing. Here's one of the granddaddies, IGT, which has kind of gone through a number of iterations as they have kind of absorbed and whatnot and other different companies, including IGT itself. So they have a very big booth, wide variety of games. Here we have Incredible Technologies, and they've now been around for a while, so their games have matured a bit, and they've got some pretty interesting games in cabinetry. Some of the cabinets have things grow, and including they have a roulette game, which is Class 2, based on bingo. Not yet out. They have some patents on that. Very tricky. I'll show a little bit of that later. And Zetro, another European company. Wind Systems, same. They also make some slot machines. You'll see a couple of those demonstrated later. And here you're seeing many of the other kinds of companies you hear, like How to Count Money with robots. There's more electronic payments happening, so there's some companies which are involved in that in addition to some of the big companies. don't ever get caught smashing the spin panel. That's going to cost you about $15,000 if you get caught. GLI, they are involved in, you know, basically kind of examining and improving the basic math on slot machines to make sure they're in compliance with the various regulations that are a little different in every little state. So they're expert on that. There is another company, I can't remember, that kind of does similar things, but you have to get past their analysis to figure out whether or not you'll get approval. Once you design a game, you have to get it approved. Then you test it, and then you test it by putting it in some select casinos and tweak it. Make sure that it's going to work well. Okay.
So it will go and it will be set to
some more of the vendors that get involved in specific parts. Here we have something that just does branding. Some more branding type of companies here. Okay, we haven't gone through everything. We haven't seen all of the vendors. You can see Eclipse. I didn't walk by them. Kind of off in the distance there. We'll just kind of go in that direction. These are kind of at this point back to about where I started from. So we'll just go through here. Video King kind of is in the name, what they're involved in. This is a KL Saberi is a South Korean company, so not quite yet visible in the United States, but they have hopes and plans. And here's Eclipse Gaming. This is a company here. It's different. Let's see. It's a different company I don't know anything about. I think some of these make cabinets and stuff like that for you. So it's fun to see some of these other companies that you may or may not be familiar with, because they offer sometimes some interesting innovations that you might not be familiar with, and a different style of play and expectations that are sometimes found in you know, other countries that that you might not be familiar with. Or if you're in the other countries, maybe you're looking at this and you're looking at how some of the slots behave in the United States. So that's about it for the end of the tour here. You can see where there's light and wonder off in the distance, and it's a lot less crowded this year. Oh, I'm sorry, this day than it was at the beginning, the first day. So it's a little bit easier. There's Gary Platt there, big in chairs. And so with that, I think, I don't know if I covered Velvix yet, but here they are again, if not. With that, I will conclude this and look forward to, you know, check back frequently to see videos I'm going to be posting. I'm not sure how many videos a day over the next coming weeks. I don't want to dump them all at one time, and they're going to be from almost every one of the companies here that makes slot machines, big and little. Those you might be familiar with, and maybe some that you are not. So check back, stay tuned.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so you won't miss a video, and visit our website to learn more about slots and casinos. If you like this video, please give it a like, and we'll also answer your questions and comments.